What the shit is a post-libertarian? No, really, what the hell is a post-libertarian? I don't know. There seems to be this new wave political philosophy called post-libertarianism rearing its head on Twitter. The only real proponent of this ideology with any sort of following is Pete Quinones. He's a podcaster who made a documentary. He has an out-of-date bio on his website where he brags about that time he spoke at the Free State Project's Liberty Forum in Manchester, New Hampshire. That's all there really is to know about him. He seems to have slumbered into this brave new idea that politics is downstream from culture. I've literally been saying this for years. You can go back and watch the dozens of interviews where I've made that point. It isn't even original to me. It's a common saying in the New Hampshire Liberty community. But yeah, it's new to him. And I get it, kind of. There's a pretty big problem in the Liberty movement of people being too autistic for their own good and getting wrapped up in the mechanics of political change and wondering why they keep losing when they haven't built any social buy-in for their ideas. The fact is, if you don't have a culture that supports liberty, then enforcing liberty through legislative and political processes is never going to last. But Pete seems to have gone full-blown ass-bee on the idea that culture is preeminent in another way by directing his ire and anger towards other libertarians and just generally being an asshole on Twitter to anyone who disagrees with him. Now, we can all be assholes. I get it. My own body count on Twitter is ever growing. And one of the highlights of my shitposting was when Meghan McCain finally blocked me for calling her the devil spawn of a warmonger. Between her and the growing folder of people that have blocked me, there's ample evidence that I, too, am an asshole on Twitter. But just being an asshole isn't the crux of Pete's new political views. And obsession with culture and his definition of the kind of culture he wants seems to be intentionally skewing right-wing and towards the extreme socially conservative side of identity politics. You know, the kind where adherence to Judeo-Christian values determines an individual's worth and its merit in society, the kind that really hates us degenerates. Well, over the past few days, Pete has directed his ire at the Free State Project and some well-known and incredibly successful libertarian activists in New Hampshire, arguing that they'll never succeed because they have bad values and will turn left and turn to shit. This tweet he sent: if your argument for living in New Hampshire over Texas is weed laws and strip clubs, your experiment will fail. It will turn left and turn to shit. Really put the icing on the cake as he takes a single tweet to highlight his own ignorance and show the fatal flaw in his own argument. For those who aren't aware, the Free State Project is a long-running social experiment and social initiative to get libertarians from across the country to move to New Hampshire and form an intentional community that has an impact both politically and culturally. It makes this small state with an accessible legislature and reactive politics a proof of concept for a libertarian utopia in our lifetime. The argument for living in New Hampshire over Texas has never been weed laws and strip clubs. It's always been about concentration and living in close proximity to people who share your values and building a community to reinforce a culture of libertarianism. Libertarians in New Hampshire with the Free State Project have been actively working to not only impact the state legislature in a more libertarian direction, but to grow a community of like-minded people with shared values and shared culture to make those changes permanent. Organizations like the Fraternal Order of the Porcupines have been creating a proof of concept for the past decade that libertarian community centers can be a hub of culture and community support networks for like-minded people, to the point where new clubs are emulating their model, with social groups popping up all over the state and other areas, building community and embracing a cultural shift towards libertarianism as they grow. But no, post-libertarians are obsessed with Texas and the Republican model, not because they value growing cultures of liberty, but because they value their own brand of authoritarianism over what they think is the greater evil. Post-libertarianism is really just what happens when libertarians have lost the culture war. When they decide that hating the left is more important than fighting for true radical freedom and cultural change. They hate the left so much and fear it so much that they're willing to embrace the authoritarianism of the right to combat it. Now, hating the left so much that you hate the left more than you love liberty is not a foundation for a principled stance. And the promotion of socially conservative views that rely on force to impose the culture you want is just tyranny by another name. Post-Libertarians are just the next wave of those idiots who discovered that hard right identity politics and thought they were smart. The Libertarian to alt-right pipeline is a real thing, and it's what gave us assholes like Chris Cantwell and now Pete Quinones. I don't know where we move on from here. I don't know why we give these people the time of day, but it's important to know that they're not libertarian anymore. So, until next time, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe and share. And if you like the content and want to help make more, join the production team by following the Patreon link in the description below. As always, be free.